Hi, I'm Diane Kometa, and today on Dishin with Di, I'm going to show you how to grill a bone-in ribeye steak, otherwise known as a cowboy steak. It's about 2 inches thick, and it is absolutely delicious and simple to prepare. So let's get started on Dishin with Di. This is really my husband's specialty. He prepares this for lots of parties and people just absolutely go crazy for it. So the first thing that you're going to need is this. This is a rib steak, otherwise known as a bone-in ribeye or a cowboy steak. And it's characterized by having the bone in, it's marbleized with beautiful fat, and this one is about 2 inches thick. So the length of cooking time is going to vary according to how thick your piece of meat is. So the first thing that you want to do is get this out of your fridge and let it sit out until it comes to room temperature. So while it's coming to room temperature, what I like to do, or what he likes to do, I should say, is get some olive oil and coat it on both sides, just lightly. You just want to rub that in. And then on top of that, you're going to use some kosher salt. And this is a nice coarse salt. And you're going to come up high and sprinkle that over. And the reason you're bringing your hand up high is because if you're down low, it's just going to go in that one little spot where you tried to drop the salt. So bring your hand up high and sprinkle the salt over the meat. Then grab some freshly ground black pepper and then just put a little bit of that on there as well. And then turn it over and do the same thing to the other side of this beauty. Now once you get that coated with the salt and pepper, then you're going to let this rest at room temperature for at least 1 hour. So you want the meat to actually come up to room temperature, and that's important, especially if you have a really thick piece of meat, because you don't want that center to be cold and the outside to be warmer, because when it cooks, the inside is going to have a hard time getting to the temperature you want it. So let it sit at room temperature, and then you're going to preheat your grill to high heat, and you want to get that heated about 15 minutes before you're going to put the steak on there. If you're using charcoal, then you want to get those briquettes heated up so that they are very red and they're starting to ash over a little bit. Then you're going to take it out and put it on your preheated grill and close the lid and set your timer for 6 minutes. This is based on a 2-inch thick steak. This is a 24-ounce cowboy steak. Once the timer goes off, take your tongs and flip that steak over to the other side and cook it for another 6 minutes. Then you want to test it for doneness. So what I like to do, rather than put a thermometer in it, is just do it by touch. And the way you determine that is by just touching the meat, and one way to test that out is by the palm of your hand. So if you touch this part of your palm, right now it's just very tender and soft. If you touch your thumb to your pointer finger, then it tightens up a little bit. That's about medium rare, and that's the way we like our steaks. If you like it a little bit more well done, like maybe on the medium to medium well side, then move on over to your next finger or to your ring finger. Then we're getting a little bit tighter there. It could be a little bit more on the drier side. So I would say for the best steak, you want to go between your pointer finger and your middle finger and feel that, and then feel the steak, and that should be what you're looking for. If you find that it's a little bit rare and it's starting to get too brown on the underside, then move it over to a cooler part of your grill and let it continue to cook until it's done. Now take the steak off the grill and set it on a different plate, not the same plate that you used to bring it out. Put it on the serving dish and let it rest for about 5 minutes. You don't want to cut into it to see if it's done, because if you do, all the juices are going to come pouring out. So if you have to, you can use a meat thermometer to see if it's ready. And that temperature for medium rare is about 125 degrees. So test that out and then let the meat rest for a good 5 minutes before you cut into it. When you serve that meat to everyone and you see them slice into it and they put a piece of that meat in their mouth, you are just going to see their expressions change. Their eyes are going to close slightly, and they're going to go on to a cowboy steak high. It's going to be almost silent, except for all these little sounds of mmm. And what goes perfectly with this is my loaded baked potato salad or casserole. It's actually served hot, and when I serve it with the cowboy steaks, people are just like drooling from side to side. So it's really wonderful. Go on my website, dishinwithdi.com, and I hope I made your life a little easier, more enjoyable, and delicious. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.